I know you also wrote an article, Brown's possible 2025 starting quarterback targets in trade and free agency. So trade possibilities, you list Geno Smith and Derek Carr, which intriguing. So Smith, Seahawks, Carr with the Saints, who's been beat up the last couple of years. Free agents, you got Darnold, Jones, Cousins, Brissett, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Jameis Winston. Um, of all those, and I'm not opposed to Cousins. I'm intrigued by Daniel Jones, but Derek Carr is a guy that I've always thought if you put him in the right system and you give him a little bit of protection, he usually plays pretty well.
He's always played well against the Browns. I mean, he beat them 35-14. This year I know Taysom Hill did a lot of damage, but I'm looking at when with what I just said previous segment about Andrew Berry's track record and draft. What he's been best at is making trades with teams that it hasn't been at quarterback, but with teams that have older or experienced veteran players that the team for whatever reason needs to get out from under the salary or move on. And that's where he identified Amari Cooper. You really just had to be willing to take on the money. I mean, I could judge that talent and say, hey, that guy's pretty good. If all I have to give up is a fifth and sixth round pick, it's just really taking on the money. Same thing he did with Jerry Judy. Same thing he did was Darius Smith. And so when you look at that, if Geno Smith, okay, if the Seahawks say, he's doing well, but he's 35, he wants a new contract, and they have a $16 million roster bonus due right at the beginning of the league year, they could say, yeah, we're gonna go another direction because we don't want to commit to him long term. Well, you could trade for him. Then he doesn't have the right to turn you down. I don't believe he has a no trade. You have an experienced, ready to go quarterback that can step in day one. And he could buy you time for a year or two till you keep looking for a replacement, the long term young guy. The other one, Derek Carr, same type thing. Now, his contract situation's a little murkier to me. I know that the Saints need to get under the contract situation and restructure with him. I don't know if trading him makes it unaffordable, with the dead cap on the Saints, but Andrew Berry's pretty good at that stuff with restructuring, figure things out. And so that's why I put down Smith and Carr. Carr would be my first choice if you can work that out. But Smith is a little cleaner. He's already under contract, I think 31 million. That saves if the Seahawks decide you can trade for him, restructure, you've got an inexpensive veteran starter from the get-go. And but Carr, if you could do something like that, I think the same type thing. The other guys, nobody at this time last year, I thought, Sam Darnold was going to do what he did. And really, it's taken a flyer on a guy. The biggest hope with a Cousins, you assume you wouldn't trade for him, but if he gets released like everybody expects, that he could hook back up with Kevin Stefanski and just cut the turnovers down and play well in this system. He wasn't really in this system in Atlanta. So, Sam Darnold, are any of the other guys, like that? Is Zach Wilson the next Sam Darnold, a number two or three pick overall, or a Justin Fields? Although Fields seems like he would be more in the line of what they're trying to get away from, the read, pass, run first type of offense. So it's there's a reason these guys are available all the time is at this time is because they're just not clear cut franchise quarterbacks. But you got to look, and I think Kevin Stefanski just got to put the ball in his court and say, okay, if it comes down, we can't trade for anybody. We have to get a free agent or the draft pick. Who's the best suited? And we've saw Jacoby Brissett stepped in and played well. In fact, he might have played, he definitely played better than Watson, and they were putting up points that year. A guy like that, or who on that availability list could do it. We saw Winston. If you had a strong running game, I think Winston could be a lot better if you didn't make him to throw the ball 40 to 50 times a game. That's his weakness, is the interceptions. We all know that. So get the run first going, and then get a quarterback that fits into what you want to do.